Good evening, everybody. I've had a lot of questions about my techniques and how I do things, and basically just how I go about doing my paintings, especially with acrylic ink. Now, this is my display that I made up because I figured out that pigment in these in each one of these, if you lay it on its side, it doesn't clog up the tube. Now the tube inside is the Doppler. It's a dauber that when you squeeze the top, it pushes air down and mixes the ink inside with the pigments. So what I figured out is that if I lay them, and that's why I made this display. It's not really a display. It basically holds all my inks. But what I figured out was if I lay it on its side, the pigment stays. Let me see if I can find a clear one. The pigment will stay on its side and it doesn't clog the tube up. So then I'll shake it up and use the dopper to mix it around. So the questions were, for one, I'm not showing you any techniques. I am. It's just basically in a lot of, it's a distance away. And it's not that I don't want to show you, it's just that it's time consuming. And I put it on time lapse thinking that it would be better, but evidently it's not. So, what I'll do is go over is my Harry Potter. So the Harry Potter one that I did, this is all acrylic ink. And how I got these to fade in, well, what I basically did is when you're doing these colors, especially with acrylic ink, you have to lay down the base first. And the base would be the lighter color, especially with acrylic ink. Now, as far as how I got the 3D depth on these to where it looks like the blue's coming out and the red's gone, what it is that I use sepia on each one of these lines. And I used about 4 different colors of ink, 4 different reds, to bring it out to where it looked like it was being around. Now, if you noticed, this is all sepia, black, and sepia. How I make these look like pastels is that I use white to go over the ink and keep going over it and covering it and over it until I get this general fade. Now, white mixes, and it's a different type of white. It's titanium ink white, and it mixes in with these basic colors. Now this is 4 different colors, and that's how I got the stone. This is red earth, but this isn't red earth. This is yellow and green and black and white mixed in with it. So there's a lot of time and effort. So that's the one reason why I use the time lapse, because trying to sit here and show you each stroke and how I do it, it's basically the way I can do it. It's because I can't post that long a video on YouTube. So I didn't post on the Harry Potter, but what I can show you is this is how usually all mine start. I do this by eye, I lay it out by eye, and then I keep looking at it and making sure. I use a blue pencil, and I've gone over this in my first video that I did, but I didn't go over techniques because I just really didn't figure I was going to bore everybody about how things worked. So basically what I use is I'm trying to find it right now. Where did I put it? I don't know where I put my pencil. Oh, I'll just get a new one out. So this is what I use. I use these. It's upside down. I use these. And they're non-photo. The canvas doesn't keep it. I mean, the canvas, when I erase, it lifts right up off the canvas. Every one I've done since my second one, that I figured out that graphite on canvas smudges. Black is the last color that you always add, because Indian ink with these other acrylic inks will blend, and you won't get that big of a bold statement if you cut right into the black. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do that, yeah, it's just it's what it is. It's a lot of trial and error. That's all I can say, is that a lot of the things that I figured out were trial and error. Like finding these blue pencils, finding these, they're non-photo blue, and they're drafting pencils. And sorry, I'm so close. I was putting that away and didn't realize I was so close. But I mean, a lot of these shades that I get, they're all trial and error. They're all done by eye. I usually add a lot of white. Sometimes if I add too much white, I'll come back and I'll put the basic color back on them again. And like I said, these, I use F&W, but I also use Liquitex. So, you know, I also use Speedball. Now, it's really what I use a whole myriad of colors because it's what works. I mean, I'm only finding, this is for me. I haven't made, you know, it really is a labor of love for me on this. I'm trying to get more out in social media, so that way people will know that I'm who I am. I'm not tracing these. I'm doing all this by eye. I'm trying to be more. I'm trying to use a medium that a lot of people haven't used before. I could go into more depth and detail about how I apply and how I erase, and maybe I'll do that later on. Maybe I'll do that later on in different different videos as I go on, which canvases I use, what erasers that I suggest you use. But as of right now, I know that I'm the only one working with this. I'm the only one that's using acrylic ink to actually set a design out. And because of that, there's a lot of trial and error with it. And a lot of people want a lot of questions answered. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning these things. And like I said, I'm still trying to work out how the ink works. And the ink works with me as I do with it. And it's unforgiving. And it's one of those things to where I've almost thrown a whole canvas away because I couldn't make it work. But I sat and worked it, wasn't happy. A lot of my old pieces I'm not happy with because as time's gone on, I've gotten better. So all I can say is please stay tuned, subscribe, give me some suggestions on what covers you'd like, and I will try anything. I will try to draw anything. I'm pretty good with other styles. As you can tell, I emulated the same copy of the Harry Potter. I mean, I think I'm pretty proud of this one. This one came out really well. I mean, it came out better than I thought it would. I was really hesitant about how the pastels would work or how I would make it look like pastels. So there's a lot more ink colors over here. There's a lot more glitter involved. I'm trying to emulate 90s covers, those ones that came out, those specialty covers. That's why the one that glows in the dark. But, email me, text me, do whatever you need to do to get in contact with me, and we can work on a price. And I appreciate you if you've tuned in. Tell your friends, tell your family. I love comic covers because the artists that do them really take a long time to set up and manipulate these so it catches the eye. I appreciate that art, and I want to emulate it and try to put it out there as best I can and really pay homage to those artists that sacrificed and really did a lot for every medium, because every book has got a story. Subscribe. Stay tuned. Clemographics. Thank you. I'm Andrew Clem.